Hello, everyone. My name is Miss Deborah, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about Battle of the Books and with Suffolk Public Library. And I'm going to talk to you today about our 2022 student introduction and give you a little bit of idea of what Battle of the Books is. What I like to refer to affectionately as Bob. We'll talk about the titles this year and how if the competition is going to be set up and how we're going to get you ready for the competition. So like I said, my name is Miss Deborah, but we also have Miss Adrian helping as well this year. All right, so let's get started. All right, so Battle of the Books is really fun, and we have 10 books for you this year. Battle of the Books Suffolk is for 4th and 5th graders. And I will tell you a little bit more about those titles, but those are just the overview of what it's going to look like this year. So what is Bob? It is a game show style reading competition. And like I said, it is open for 4th and 5th grade students. That could be public, private, or homeschooled students. As I showed you before, it is reading 10 pre-selected books this year, and they cover different genres. All books are AR, and they are between the levels of 3rd and 6th grade reading levels. I know most of our students aren't doing AR this year, but with that, it just gives you like an overview that the books are also between that 3rd and 6th grade reading levels. You will compete in teams of up to 5 students and you will answer questions about each one of the titles. And we will talk a little bit more about teams here in a few slides. Each student is encouraged to read every book, but it isn't a requirement. So in your team, hopefully everybody will have read at least one person will have at least read each book. And in 2022, hopefully, we hope to find a mix of virtual prep. We'll do some things virtually, and then we will have in-person battles. And our Suffolk finals will be in April of this coming year of 2022. We're figuring out the dates for that, so stay tuned. And also, Battle of the Books is super fun. I love getting ready for it. I love seeing your enthusiasm. I had a lot of fun already picking out the titles and getting ready for you. So we just hope that you'll enjoy it. And it is a lot of fun learning and growing together. And Battle of the Books is for everyone, no matter the reading level or where you think you should be, we want to encourage reading and literacy, and that is our hope with Bob. So let me go over a little bit about the titles this year. So you can see there some of our titles, or all of our titles, and so I'm going to go over each one. But basically, the different titles are covering different genres. I've really enjoyed reading and selecting these titles along with my team. So I hope that you will enjoy these books as well and don't think they're old and stuffy. And so I can't wait to describe them to you. So here we go. All right, so our first book is, I have my beautiful pile here of the 10 titles. The first one in alphabetical order by author is The True Confessions of Charlotte Doyle. And this is our classic element book this year, and it is also adventure. And it was copyrighted in 1990, and Charlotte is the lone young lady on a transatlantic voyage in 1832. And Charlotte learns that the captain is murderous and the crew is rebellious. And so you can see in the picture there on the book that she's holding a little knife. It is quite an adventuresome tale, not just for girls. It is quite fun. All right, our next book is The London Eye Mystery. And this book is by Siobhan Dowd. And it is our mystery title. And it takes place in London. You might have seen the London Eye before. It's this big Ferris wheel here on the cover. But it is a really fun book. Just a little bit about it is when Ted and Kat's cousin Salim disappears from the London Eye, the two siblings must work together. Ted with his brain that is wired differently, and impatient Kat to try to solve the mystery of what happened to Salim. So it's a really fun title. Our next book is called Fish in a Tree by Linda Mullally Hunt. This is our realistic fiction selection this year. It's from 2015. And Allie's greatest fear is that everyone will find out that she's dyslexic and doesn't know how to read. Mr. Daniel C., the bright creative kid underneath the troublemaker, and with his help, Allie learns that she has nothing to be ashamed of. It's a fun read. All right, this next one I'm very excited about. It's brand new, came out the end of last year. It's called When Stars Are Scattered. It is by Victoria Jamieson and Omar Mohammed. This book is our nonfiction graphic novel selection for this year. It's also a biography. Actually, you could say it's an autobiography. Victoria Jamieson might sound familiar to you. She's the author that did Roller Girl, among other things. But Omar wrote this book with Victoria, and it's a really neat, true story. And that is just really kind of neat. So let me tell you about it. Omar and his younger brother Haseen live in a refugee camp. And when the opportunity for Omar to get an education comes along, he must decide between going to school every day or caring for his non-verbal brother. So it's a really neat story. It's a fun graphic novel that also is an autobiography. So that's really neat. And just learning the story about how Victoria and Omar met each other and wrote this book is really neat. So I hope you enjoy that title. All right, our next one of my favorite books by far is Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery. And it is just a really fun book. And so I thought this would be a great way for everyone to read it. So this is called Anne of Green Gables, a graphic novel. It was adapted by Mariah Martinson, and it's a classic graphic novel form and really quick, fun read, and really captures the heart of Anne of Green Gables in a graphic novel form. So what that story for Anne of Green Gables is about is when Matthew and Marilla Cuthbert decide to adopt an orphan to help manage their family farm, they have no idea what a delightful trouble awaits them. With unstoppable imagination, 11-year-old Anne Shirley takes Green Gables by storm, and I'd say avidly, and makes everybody's lives happier. This next title is Tristan Strong Punches a Hole in the Sky by Kwame Mobilia. And this is our fantasy book. It also has folklore in it. As you can see at the top, it is one of our Rick Riordan Presents books. This is the first in a series, came out not too long ago. This is a really fun read and one of my favorite Rick Riordan Presents books. So 7th grader Tristan Strong tumbles into Bid Pass along with allies John Henry and Briar Rabbit, and they must entice the god Anansi to come out of hiding and seal the hole that Tristan accidentally ripped in the sky. I have yet to read the second one, but I really enjoyed the first one. So hopefully you'll enjoy it too. All right, our next book is called Treasure Hunters by James Patterson and Chris Grabenstein. And this is another adventure book that we have for you. It has graphic novel elements in it. So lots of pictures similar to like Diary of a Wimpy Kid or Big Nate. It is also the first in a series. And it is a really fun adventure read. So following the clues left behind their missing father, the 4 kid siblings, KIDD, sail from the Caribbean to New York City to finish the dangerous quest of their treasure hunting parents. So they have to go, kind of a mystery too. So they have to go solve the clues of finding their parents. And all the fun family siblings, the fun family rivalry between the siblings and how they help each other by what their skills is really neat as well. All right, we have The Invention of Hugo Cabret by Brian Selznick. You might think this is really thick, and it is, but not a hard read because most of this book is actually in pictures. It is, I would say, it has graphic novel elements to it. It's a very book of its own, and it is our historical fiction book. It is also won the Caldecott. So if you look inside, there's pages, but there's also lots of pictures. And so it's a really neat way, a novel way to have a novel that's the story is told in pictures as well as words, and it flips between the two. So in some graphic novels, in a lot of graphic novels and Diver Wimpy Kid, it doesn't flip necessarily between the two. It's told simultaneously, but this flips between, and it's a really neat book. When 12-year-old Hugo, an orphan living and repairing clocks within the walls of a Paris train station in 1931, he meets a mysterious toy seller and his goddaughter, and they uncover his biggest secret of his life. So it's a very fun, kind of also has some mysterious elements in it, figuring out the mystery. Some really cool kind of talks about film and early film days, but also automatons and kind of mechanical aspects. It's a really neat story, and I can't wait to share it with you. All right, getting down to the end, our 9th book is Kid Athletes: True Tales from Childhood from Sports Legends by David Sabler. This is our nonfiction book this time. And it's also about sports and also a biography. And there are other series of other childhood biographies. This one's about kid athletes. And it has a couple pages on each person. So here's a couple pages on Tiger Woods. And so there's fun pictures and really neat ways to learn about some of your favorite sports legends. All right. Last but certainly not least is Wings of Fire, the Dragonet Prophecy. This is the first book in the series by Julie Sutherland. This is our popular genre that we wanted to cover. So you might have already read this. So you have, at most 9 books to go then, if you've read it. It's also a fantasy. It's super fun. I know that you all love it. And so that is why it has made the list. But if you don't know about it, there are 7 dragon tribes that have been at war for generations, locked in an endless battle over an ancient lost treasure. A secret movement called the Talons of Peace is determined to bring an end to the fighting. And there are dragons that will assist with that in a fun way. All right, so those are our 10 books, I'm sorry. I was going to tell you a little bit about the teams. The deadline to register with us is November 8th. Everybody participating in Suffolk Bob has to register through our Google form. There will be links for that, so you can easily do that. Your school might choose to participate and they will form a team. If your school does not have a team, then you can register as an individual and be placed on a library created team. But don't worry, everybody gets the same information, and we do that by our discussion programs. They will be held Wednesdays at 5 p.m. via Zoom, so it's virtual, so it doesn't matter if you can't come to the library because it's going to be online. And you can see the dates there and our first 5 titles that we're going to go over. All of these discussion programs will be library staff led, and they will be recorded, and there will be quizzes. as part of those discussion programs. So we'll have a little bit of time for discussion and reflection, as well as we will have a recording. We will do a quiz about each title during that program. But the recordings and the quizzes from the past programs will be added to the Bob Google Drive. And then the other 5 books will also have discussion programs that will take place January through March. And how SPL, or Suffolk Public Library, is supporting you in this Bob adventure. Obviously, registration will be through that Google form. You will get regular email communication, most likely from myself and or Adrian. And you will have access to our Google Drive. It will have lots of resources on that, as well as with online quizzes. You will have the recordings from the previous discussion programs. We will post practice battles in the spring so you can practice. There will be lots of ways that you will, and resources that you will have access to with that Google Drive. We will also host practice battles, and then obviously the final battle. And then we're looking at getting participants together in an informal way. Maybe having fun, maybe doing some light competition, but kind of also so you can see each other and have a social, is another way to say it. All right, so thank you so much for thinking of participating in Battle Books this year. Like I said, my name is Miss Deborah. You can also contact Miss Adrian. Our contact information is on the screen. We hope that you think about it. And if you have any questions, please contact us. We put a lot of work into Bob, and it's one of our favorite programs. And so I hope to see you soon. All right, thanks, bye.